active ETFs were pretty common back in 2014, but mostly in fixed income. There were very few in equities. Why did you choose the actively managed ETF as the wrapper for your strategy and not something else?
Yeah, it's interesting. We were looking after 0809 at AllianceBernstein, the research on strategic change team. So the thematic team was saying, okay, we have had a major disruption, and now technology will come in and take care of some of the problems caused by that disruption. And so what we saw happening in the financial services industry was a share shift towards ETFs. And just from a research point of view, we were asking ourselves, why is that happening? We didn't know anything about ETFs. And so we looked at what an ETF is and understood that there were 4 reasons that ETFs were starting to take share. They were more transparent, and after 0809, investors wanted more transparency. Investors wanted more liquidity. Unlike mutual funds, they trade all day long. They're lower cost than mutual funds because they didn't have any hidden fees. The fees, what you see is what you get. And they were more tax effective. And so for those 4 reasons, I just asked the question, why aren't we doing why don't we put our fund into an ETF? This sounds like a good deal for the end investor. And that's what got me questioning, hey, AllianceBernstein, what are we doing? What are you doing about ETFs? Are you thinking about active and so forth? And that's how we fell into that conversation. But it was from a research point of view.
I've wondered to myself why you didn't start a hedge fund, because from a purely self-interested standpoint, you'd be a lot richer at 2.20 than you are at 75 basis points.
I felt that the right thing to do was go where no one was. And I've had good success over the years doing that. You know, if you see everyone moving in one direction, and sure, hedge funds have been so lucrative for asset managers. But if you see everyone moving into hedge funds and private, and you look at a new wrapper that's actually a good deal for the end investor, and you go with low cost and public, using the private market valuations as an umbrella, maybe, just maybe, you'll be onto something big. And so I think that's what happened here.
ETFs are by definition public market vehicles. I've wondered this as well. Why not extend your investment thesis to private markets and raise money to invest in venture capital and in growth equity, because so many of the things that you're interested in get their start there?
Absolutely. Well, one of the reasons was the low-hanging fruit in the public equity markets. Innovation had been neglected in the public markets. It had become overvalued in the private markets. My stomping ground was the public market, so it made sense for me to start there. Now that the valuation discrepancies are narrowing to some extent, not completely, and because we must know private companies. And in fact, part of our research ecosystem with the social networks, getting involved with companies as they're innovating, a lot of them are private. And we're talking to them regularly in social media, on social media platforms. So yes, we are evolving some strategies. We hope that next year we'll be able to launch something. What I would love, and it would be true to our stripes, our current stripes, I would love, because I know the SEC is opening up to this, I would love to be able to offer a public-private option that would be available for all retail investors. Right now, we have to, the private world has to deal with accredited investors. So there's a screen. I believe that screen is going to start coming down over time. And I'd love us to move into a world where we could offer what we do across both public and private companies.
In the form of an ETF?
I don't think it can be done
No,
in the form of
probably
an
not.
ETF, just because of the way market makers and authorized
Sure, the creation redemption
yeah, it
mechanism.
would be very difficult. But I'm sure that we could find some other wrapper, maybe a separately managed account wrapper, in which to make this happen.